McCarthy Insurance Group, serving the community for over 70 years. For home, farm, motor, life, health and business insurance, log on to mig.ie or free phone 1800 50 11 11. Probably your best call in 2024. Charles McCarthy Insurance is trading as McCarthy Insurance Group, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Real people, real opinions. Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Do you believe this is discrimination against women? Or do you believe it's a choice? That women are the ones primarily who want to stay at home. So when a couple has an arrangement and they talk together and they say, listen, we can't afford this for both of us to be in work. It'd be easier for one of us to stay at home. That realistically the woman puts her hand up and goes, well, I'll do it. Or is it kind of a case of she's just expected to do it because she's a woman? Let me know what you think. The number is 087 188 0008. Let me go to Sean. Sean, hi, how are you?
Hey, Niall.
What do you think, Sean?
It'd be nice for us to have a choice, wouldn't it? I was saying to your researcher there, we have one baby girl and she's 3.
Yeah.
It's $1,600 a month. So
Right.
$1,600 a month on creche, $1,550 on mortgage.
Mm.
Her creche hours have been reduced to 8 to 5:30, so they only have to run one shift a day. It was 7 till 6.
Right, okay.
So that means effectively to leave her in creche, one of us has to be work from home. There is no way either of us could afford to stay at home. We're both on really good wages, but neither of us can
by the way,
afford to stay at home.
Can I ask you a question? Is that do you think all this is by design? Because people think it's by design. In other words, we now live in a world where we are the ones who have decided it's a more expensive world because we want internet, we want 2 mobile phones, we want 2 cars in the garden, we want a holiday to Spain. We didn't have those things 30 years ago when women primarily stayed at home. Your mum probably stayed at home, so did mine.
Yep.
So is that by design? Are we responsible for forcing, both parents to work by our needs?
I don't think we're responsible. I think government may be responsible. I think there's a very clear reason why they're trying to remove the rights to women in the referendum. I mean, every woman in the workforce is a taxpayer. She's adding more to society. She sits at home. She's going to take the children's allowance and not contribute. I think it's very much commercialised that women and men go to work. You have to have both working to get a mortgage. You have to have both working effectively to have a kid. We really want a second child right now. The missus is 39. We literally can't afford to put a second child into creche. I mean, if you take the $3,150 a month, gross that up, that's a salary of $68,000 a year just to cover creche and mortgage.
That's bonkers.
I think it's very much a situation that you're forced for both parents to work, and I would gladly have the choice for one of us to stay at home. I would gladly stay at home and, wash clothes, do dishes, do the ironing and look after baby every day, but it's just not feasible.
The mind boggles that you're right. You need about 60 grand at least coming into the house to have a child, have a mortgage, pay the creche fees, then pay for the small little luxuries of life. You need 60 grand at least coming in. Isn't that bonkers? Where did we go from, 30,000 20 years ago to 60 grand now to do all those things? It's incredible.
I think you look at each recession, and each time there's been a recession, when we've come out of it, more people have been forced into the workforce, and once they get there, they get comfortable. In a way, you might be right
that's because the earnings,
with the holidays, and with everything else.
That's because over the last 25, 30 years, the earnings have not matched inflation. In other words, we now need to earn more money to keep up with inflation, but we're not getting more money. We're getting, for example, I can only speak for myself. I'm getting paid less now than I was 20 years ago. So, now don't get me wrong, I have a different type of job. I get I have a different type of job. Media is different, right? But I can tell you now, most people in media, and presenters and radio presenters, with the exception of Ryan Tubridy, most people in media are getting, I had to throw that in, sorry, although he did take a pay cut, allegedly. Most people in media are getting less money.
500 grand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the highest paid ever in media in Ireland was Pat Kenny back in 2009. And he was getting nearly 950,000, I think, at the time for the radio show and the Late Late Show at the time, right?
Yeah, but he's lost it all in legal bills fighting a nursing home.
Or people putting up walls. Anyway, but what I'm saying to you is, so a lot of people, and I imagine that's across the board, I can only count for media, right? Across the board, a lot of people now, with the exception of the tech industries, are being paid either the same or less than they were getting 15 years ago. So our money really hasn't gone up. So we're now being asked to do the same thing with the same amount of money, which actually costs more money to do. That's the problem, isn't it?
Well, it forces two people into work, and there's solutions there. I mean, you look, the college dropout rate in Ireland is between 35% in techs and 17% in the universities. If that money was redispersed to free childcare, I wonder how much that difference that would make to allowing a parent the choice to stay at home.
I wonder, and do you think if there's a conversation in a house, and we're seeing according to the research today that it's mainly women who are choosing to stay at home and be there for the child, right? So that's still that traditional role. Do you think that's women are choosing to do that, or do you believe it's they're kind of the one being forced out of the workforce because maybe they're being paid less than a man?
If I take our household, if one of us were to stay at home, it would be the missus. She's on maybe 15 less than I am.
Right.
That's the financial side. But if one of us had the option to stay at home, she would want to stay at home. She would gladly be a stay-at-home mother.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so women choose to do it as well. Yeah. If they can afford to. Do you, by the way, would your missus, if she didn't have to work, right? Let's say you were earning enough money. Do you think your missus would like to stay at home for the first years of your child's life?
She would kill to stay at home. In fairness, she has one of these lovely little civil service jobs, so she did take 18 months off when we had number one, but she would kill to stay at home full time and have a second child.
Stay there for a second. Let me go to Kathleen as well. Hi, Kathleen. Hi, how are you?
I'm okay now. Well, I've been on the other end of the scales compared to that gentleman, but I remember when I've only one girl and she's an adult now, and I couldn't go to work because I had nobody to mind my daughter. So
Okay.
I hadn't got a choice.
Okay, were you a single parent?
You know,
you were a single parent, were you?
A single parent. Well, I was married for a while, but he wouldn't pull with me, you know. I know.
What happened? Did he abandon you?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right,
Over
okay.
in England, yeah.
Okay.
But I had a grand little job, and he only had to mind her when I went to work. I used to work in a creche, in the kitchen, because I'm a trained chef, you know.
And do you think women, when we look at, you know, when there's a choice is being made for somebody to stay at home, do you think it's women are being forced to do it in some way because of the financial reward? In other words, they don't earn enough money or as much as a man, or do you think women are choosing to do it? Do you think women have maternal instincts?
I speak for my own. I think that women, you know, prefer. You know, I think it's. I can only speak from my own experience, but if you're putting two children into creche now,
Yeah.
you know, that is a lot of money. But you know, they have to weigh up the pros and cons, really, don't they now?
Well, they do, yeah. It's a lot of money to put a child into a creche,
Yeah, you know, but I know a man now here in Ireland, and he's rearing two children on his own.
I mean, if you're a woman, for example, and you're only earning the minimum wage in some 40-hour-a-week job, and you've to put a child in creche, and you're married, and your husband is out earning, say, 35 or 40,000, you know, well, then it doesn't make any financial sense to even go to work, which I know is sad. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's hardly worth your while.
But the sad part in all of that now, if you can't go to work, you know, your child misses out because you haven't got the money to bring them, you know, to do things with them that you'd like to do, you know, like bring them on away on a holiday or bring them to certain places, you know, because your budget is so restricted now.
There is a kind of, Sean, just to come back to you, there is a financial trap people are in these situations. I mentioned there a minute ago, if you're a woman and you're on low income and your husband's on more than you, sometimes it just physically isn't worth going to work. It's financially viable to stay at home.
Well, we did the calculations. If we were to have a second child, there's no way we can send both to creche, so one of us would have to stay at home. Now, we'd struggle. We wouldn't pay the bills every month. We'd be into credit cards and loans and, I don't know.
How did we do it? Well, I was going to say, how did we do it years ago? It was cheaper, of course. But see, I tried to explain this to you before. People say, oh, you were luckier, you know, back in your day. And I go, well, no. I didn't have an internet bill. I didn't have a second car in the garden. We didn't have an expensive holiday. You know, there's a lot of sacrifices can be made to afford to do it. It's just that our lifestyles are different now, Sean. Now, by the way, I think an internet
nowadays.
There's
also a cost of living crisis. I mean,
well, no, I agree.
The
I agree.
bill's gone up $476 a year.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no, you're right.
I mean, I think you scrimp and save. You cut your Netflix, you cut your Prime, and you end up stuck with Ryan Tuberty and RT, that's fine. But you can't cut the bills. You can't cut the electricity bill that's gone up over 100%. You can't cut the gas bill. You can't, I mean, most of us need a car. I certainly, with what I do for a living, I need a car. Those bills can't be cut. So if we shred everything down to the absolute minimum, we're still left in a situation where one of our wages is not going to cover it. I don't know. I was son of a single mother. I have absolutely no idea how she did it.
No, I don't know either. Well, fair play to you, Kathleen.
Well, no.
Yeah, Kathleen.
Yeah, I just want to say this to you. So I spoke about my own situation. I spoke about somebody here in Ireland that I know is rearing 2 kids. One of them has special needs, okay? And the third part of what I just want to put across to you now, I have family living over in England, and they both work, but what they do is the husband will do the early mornings. He got a job on the buses so that he can basically be there for his little girl. She's only 5. And then the wife goes off and then does her work.
In the evening.
So they don't have to have yeah.
But that's not really a relationship anymore then, is it? I mean, no, the problem with that is it's not a relationship anymore. They're like ships in the night. He's working in the morning. He comes home, he's knackered. She goes out to work in the evening. By the time she comes home, he's back in bed asleep. So that's not a relationship anymore.
I agree. No, it's not great.
You can't destroy your quality of life of the whole thing as well. I get that. 2 is free for you there, Jane. Let me just go to Brian. How you doing, Brian?
I just wanted to tell you now.
Yeah, no, I understand that, Kathleen. Thanks. Let me go to Brian. Brian, how you doing?
Good night. How are you?
Good. Brian, so you believe it depends on who's earning the most?
Yeah, I think I think that makes sense. Whoever is earning the most money should stay out, and primarily that's going back. It's primarily the man that earns the most. I'm not being sexist or anything, but
it's a fact of life.
That's the way it is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way it is, and you cut your cloth to your measure. You have to do it.
Well, let's say both being equal. Let's say they were both earning the same amount of money. And I come along and I said, right, one of you has to stay at home to mind the child. Who's going to put their hand up first?
Well, it has to be a decision made. You know,
be honest.
Both parties, and they both have to agree on it.
But be honest. I would say 80% of the time, when the woman will put their hand up first.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But I think that's going back. That's gone back to tradition, Niall. I think we haven't completely moved away from that.
Is it tradition, or is there something biological or in our DNA that women just have, generally speaking, I'm not saying always, some women are not maternal at all, but women have a maternal instinct?
Yeah, well, I think that's just biological, isn't it? It's just women are more in nature, where men have always been breadwinners. Men have always gone back to hunting times.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There are women who are very career-orientated and don't have a nurturing bone in their body. I know 1 or 2 of them as well. But and there are men, by the way, who don't have a nurturing bone in their body. But generally speaking, and Sean, I think you would agree, if both you and your missus, Sean, are getting the same amount of money, and I said to you, one of you can stay at home, and I'll make up the difference for you. I'm not going to, by the way, Sean, can I just point out? And I'll make up the difference for you. Which one of you would put your hand up? You just said your wife would. She'd be the first to put her hand up, wouldn't she?
We'd be fighting for it, but she'd win. I mean, the amount of women I know who said all through their lives, I don't want children, then they hit 36, 37, 38, 39, and they're little bunny boilers.
Yeah.
Women are biologically set to have children, raise children. It's the meaning of life. And yeah, of course, they're going to want to spend time with their kids.
And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's this kind of almost shaming women who stay at home at the moment.
Well, I think it's gotten very scary that we've left the upbringing of our children to the girl, and no offence to her, who's on a very minimum wage in creche and maybe not cares about those children as much as a parent does.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to be more involved in my daughter's life, but I'm out 14 hours a day, Monday to Friday.
Right. It's tough. Yeah.
I don't think it wasn't ever debated as much prior before now, because women have a lot more opportunity in the workforce now. So for them to take a step back, there's a serious thought that goes into it, because it'll heed their progression in the workforce if they do step back. So,
but we have created this. Well, we didn't create it. The government created this over the last 30 years. We've created a situation where it's become now unaffordable for a parent to stay at home. And I'm not going to say women, but for a parent to stay at home with their child for the formative years of the child's life. We created a situation where it's just become unaffordable to stay at home. And that's sad.
This whole country, sorry to cut across you. This whole country is just like sorry to go off on a tangent here, but I'm going to wait to London for 2 nights in August because I look to stay away for 3 or 4 nights in Ireland, and it's just so expensive. Where I could get 2 nights in London in by the Tower Bridge there for myself and my wife, flights and accommodation for €440. Where they were looking at Clarny, you were looking at Clarny at nearly 2,500 for 3 nights.
That's bonkers.
Like,
yeah.
It's madness, like, you know what I mean?
No, I know.
I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent there. But,
No, I get what you're saying. So Ireland has become unaffordable.
Absolutely, it's just so.
And by the way, see, everybody, we've kind of stopped talking about the cost of living crisis over the summer period, right? So, since May. And the reason for that is because our bills have come back down again because we're not using as much electricity. We're not using oil or gas for heating because we don't need to switch it on. I haven't had the heating on in nearly 3 months probably. But very soon, it's going to get dark again. Very soon, it's going to get cold again. And all of a sudden, we're going to realise how much those bills cost and how much money we actually have. At the moment, we're okay.
Yeah.
But the cost of living hasn't come down. Your bottle of milk, your bread, all that kind of stuff is still going up, you know?
Yeah, it's
I found myself in the garage the other day. I was putting diesel into the car. And it was, what was it, 140, 139 or something like that. And I was putting the diesel in and I was kind of smiling to myself a little bit. Going, Jesus, thank God it's not 220 anymore, right?
So you were able to pay the 40 cents for the extra sauce for the chicken nuggets, you were?
I was, yeah. I paid the 40 cents. You have a good memory, Brian. So there I am in the Statoil, right? And I'm putting the thing, and I'm kind of smiling to myself, going, at least it's not 220, because it was costing me at one stage 650 on diesel a month, right? Because I do a lot of travel.
Yeah, you're traveling up and down to north.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So I said I was smiling, and I said, why am I smiling? I'm still being ripped off. Yeah. Like 140 is still a rip-off. It should be only about 120. Yeah. You know, it's still a rip-off. So, but here's the thing: we're happy nowadays not to be ripped off so much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're thankful for smaller mercies.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, hang on. Let me get back to the topic again. Steve, hi. How are you?
Imagine that, Niall. It's they're pissing on you and they're telling you it's raining.
Yeah.
You know,
I know. Yeah.
Imagine that. So look, you were right about one thing though. You just said there a minute ago that there's a stigma around mothers who would stay at home. And what I would say to those not single mothers, but mothers who stay at home is be proud of what you do. If you love and take care of your child, you're the most important person in the world to that child. In saying that, it is biology. I mean, I heard you there also a couple of minutes ago asking the question, is it biology? We cleared this up years ago. Of course it's biology. Of course women behave differently than men. Men are interested in things. Women are interested in people. And that's just how our biology is wired. So unfortunately, the best people for the job should be the ones with the job, not the fathers. And that's not to say that there's not amazing, spectacular, wonderful, loving fathers out there. But if you're going to have a nuclear family, then basically you're going to have the guy out working and the woman staying at home taking care of the kids.
What about if the woman earns more money? Should he stay at home?
No, absolutely
Why?
not. No, did you just miss entirely what I just said?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I don't. I don't miss what you said. I understand.
It's not about the goddamn money.
Hey, by the way, don't shout at me. I'm a conservative. I love the idea of the nuclear family. I don't think there was anything wrong with the roles. And by the way, I'm only asking you a question. So what I'm saying to you is,
silly question.
So you think it's a silly question? If a man earns more money, the woman should still stay at, or if the woman earns more money, she's the one who still should stay at.
I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you a question. What's more important, children or money?
All a child wants is love. All a child wants is love.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And a fool would know the answer to that. And none of us tonight are fools. We know that it is important for the mother to be at home. I mean, for Christ's sake, my mother was, well, I'd like to say something, but I won't. But the thing is, I still have those memories of kind, loving moments, even though she was a bitch. Like, she'd done horrible things, but there were still those moments. And those moments was her biology. It wasn't her as a person. She wasn't a very nice person. That was her biology kicking in.
You probably didn't realise that when you were 4 or 5 years of age.
No, absolutely not. No, you'd be totally confused by that. One minute happy, the next minute getting the shit knocked out of you. So yeah, no, you would be confused by that. But later on in life, you do realise it, Niall. And women can get pissed off with me as much as you want. It's your job, for Christ's sake.
Oh, wow.
You're put on this planet.
No, now you're stepping over the line.
Reproduce. No, I'm not. I'm talking
women.
biology.
Hold on, no. Women. Let me just get this statement right. You've just made. Women were put on this planet to reproduce, so that's their job in life, is it?
Yes. Unfortunately, that's what.
Unfortunately,
that's what science says. That's what biology
but
says.
What about them wanting a career as well? Can they do that too, or are they just incubators?
But then it depends really on how you want your children growing up. If you want them growing up in a warm, loving family, then stay at home.
I'm with you halfway on the argument, but then when you turned around and said that's their purpose in life, or you're suggesting that's their purpose in life.
Christ. Hold on. I'm not, Niall, what? Steve is not suggesting. This is not Steve's opinion. This is biology. This is fact. Why is any life there? Any life whatsoever, it's there to reproduce. That's what it does. It's like cancer cells. It reproduces, and that's what our jobs are. Our job as men is to plant the seeds, and job as women is to give birth to them. They have the nurturing nature within them to be these mothers. Fathers have the muscles to get out and do the hard work.
But there are animals within the animal kingdom where the father stays with the eggs. And the father raises the children.
Penguins.
Yeah, that's right.
Penguins.
Yeah, there are other. I don't think it's just penguins, by the way. So what I'm saying to you is, you can have women who don't have a maternal instinct. You can have fathers who are better than women at looking after children too. That can happen too, you know.
Yes, you're right. But here's the thing, Niall. A broken clock is right twice a day. Two things can be wrong and right at the same time. Unfortunately, yes, of course, there's women out there who would just want to have I'd like to point out, these women out there who just want the high-powered career. Did they not learn from men making these mistakes? Have they not seen all the films of, men who are away from their families 80 hours a week, and the child grows up without them, and everybody's heartbroken, and it's all the man bastard's fault? That's basically what these movies tell. But still, these women grow up and go, well, I want to be the man. You want to be the one leaving your family? You idiot.
Well, sorry, let me just come back to Sean. Sean, hang on. Sean, you've been listening to Steve's words of wisdom there. As far as he's concerned, that's a woman's job, by the way. That's her purpose in life, by the way, is to reproduce and raise children. I wouldn't like to put him in front of your wife for 5 minutes. But
I was just going to say he'd get some slap.
Yeah,
she'd get one back.
I can say those things, but I can say them in a much nicer way. You know what I mean? Okay, he's being blunt, I suppose. As far as he's concerned, that's the biology of life. Get over it.
Look, in fairness to him, he makes some good points. So I was cracking here laughing, saying, have they not learned from our mistakes about working till all hours? But, yeah, look, I think women are biology set to raise children. I think most of them have that nurturing ability. But to say they have to do it is crazy in this day and age.
I never said they have to do it. I said they should do it. Never said they have
to, unless it's a choice.
No. There's a massive difference. And you just analyse what you just said. Trust me, there's a big difference. They should. That's their job. Me as a man, my job is to protect. It is to provide. That is what I was built to do. It's in my very DNA. Things I cannot deny. So this is what we're set to. If anybody out there wants to deny biology, go ahead and do it and see what happens. It never works out.
No.
Say that's all the children raised by a single father.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I do agree on one point that he makes, and that's in relation to this shame or stigma that's put on women who stay at home. And you mentioned at the very start of the conversation the referendum that's coming in the next year or so, which is to remove that article from the Constitution that a woman by necessity shouldn't have to go to work to raise her child. And I find it very disingenuous to listen to women who claim to be feminists claiming that we need to remove that from the Constitution. Surely you would leave that in there to protect women. I don't understand the reasoning behind it. Anyway, I hope that maybe they'll make it genderless or something like that. I don't know. But in saying that, I get the point Steve is making. I wouldn't word it the way he's wording it. He's probably just a little bit more blunt than I am in relation to it, because I believe it can work both ways.
What way would you word it? What way would you word it? Just curious.
Well, what I believe is that a woman has a choice to go and have a career if that's what she wants to do. I don't believe you should not be giving women choices.
Yeah, so far.
It's not her. It's not her choice to have a baby or not have a baby. She's the only one capable of doing it. Clearly,
no, it is her choice.
What I'm saying is, it's not her choice that she is capable of having a baby and we're not. That's not her. That's biology. I get that.
It's not my choice. I have a penis. It's not your choice. You have a penis. It's not a choice. These are not.
Well, for some people in the world, there seems to be.
Let's not even go there. But this, you just had to sidetrack with that, didn't you? You really did.
I'm just
saying. That just throws it, because now I want to go off.
No, you don't. Don't go off on a tangent. Don't go on a tangent.
No, I won't. Look, either way, I promise you, what I'm saying is nothing got to do with manpower and women are all bitches. It's nothing got to do with that. I just see it like it is. And even most feminists at heart know I'm telling the truth. But if they just want the fight, they just want the argument, and I can't understand why. Life would be so much simpler for both sides of the party if men just started to be men again and women started to be women. We're in a better world with
So you want a woman in there with an apron making the dinner and holding the baby while she's doing it, and a man out the back garden chopping wood bare-chested?
Okay, so what's the difference about doing jobs that are suited to their gender? What's the difference, Niall?
Okay, what I'm saying to you is, I understand the point you're making, and I'm quite traditional in my views on marriage.
You make it sound derogatory when you're saying the woman in the kitchen. But
hang on, I'm sounding derogatory. You're the woman who just said it's a woman's purpose in life to have babies. I think they have more purpose than that.
Not my opinion.
They've a bigger purpose in life than just having babies.
Not according to biology, Niall.
If we're going by biology, Steve, it's a man's purpose in life to put his penis into a woman and create them babies. That's his purpose in life. Then he doesn't have any other purpose according to biology. So you can't just stick to biology.
Hold on a second. No, biology also dictates that he was the one who left the cave and killed the animal.
Oh, Jesus. We're not living in the caves anymore.
No, we're not. But why has our roles reversed? Why? Do you see the women in the sewers or up the lampposts or doing the tough jobs that men do? No, because their men are mostly still in these jobs. If women want to complain and have absolute equality, get in the bleeding sewers. Oh. Then I'll start to take you serious.
Right, okay. I don't know. I'm blown away by that. Anyway, the number's 087 188 0008. So with the text coming in. Now, will you please tell that caveman to get back into the cave? Somebody else says, no, I can't believe Steve. I'm normally quite understanding of his view, but tonight he's gone too far. I believe the statement that a woman's purpose is to have children is quite outrageous in 2023.
Wow, you can't even tell the truth. You can't. That's the problem with 2023, you idiots.
Well, hang on. Let me go to Martin. Martin, hi, how are you? Martin.
Good evening, Niall.
Good evening, Martin. Martin, I understand you're a traditionalist as well, but in saying that, the reason we're talking about this tonight is because, according to the research, women, by necessity, are the ones being forced to give up their jobs to mind the children at home because they can't afford childcare costs, and that's not fair on women.
Okay. First off, I'd like to say I don't often agree with Steve, but I entirely agree with him on this. I made a comment I sent in, there's a reason why it's the women have breasts to breastfeed. I know not all women breastfeed their children, but it's in their nature. They're more nurturing, they're more caring. Men, by our nature, they're always going to be outliers. I get that. I understand that. Men, we do other things. We're better at other things. And Steve is entirely right. Denying biology is where it starts to fall down. But on the issue of this notion of careers, now my job takes me into contact with numerous women daily. My job brings me into contact with women who work for one of the largest retailers in the country, and even the women who would be in management. I try to be a fairly affable guy, and I've had conversations. I know many of them over the years, and we have conversations. I can tell you that even the women who are in managerial positions, when you get into conversation with them, they don't talk about careers. They're not running ICI. They're not running Google. They're out to earn a living.
But that might be your experience talking to women. I've talked to women who are very career orientated,
Yes, I have talked to women who are very career-oriented as well. But the point is, a career, by its definition, means that a person progresses, they're careering, they're moving forward. The vast majority of us, whether you be men or women, in a job, because there are only so many, the further up the ladder you go, the more limited those positions become.
But do you think the comments by you and Steve tonight, by today's standards, are sexist?
Misogynistic, is that what they're going to say?
Well, sexist, yeah. Are they?
No, they're not. No, because it's simple biological fact.
Okay, well, do me a favour. Just stay there, Martin and Steve, because I want to be fair and I want to bring a woman into the conversation. Tricia, hi, how are you? Well, hang on, both of you.
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. Have you listened to Martin and Steve?
I am. And they're talking like we're second-class citizens still. We've moved on from that world. You know, we've moved
Where
on
did
from
I put you in the second-class citizen category?
Hang on, let her speak, please.
No, you have.
No,
because
both
you're
of you.
telling me. No, hold on. What you're saying is that we have no career progression like you guys have.
Never
That's what
said
you just
that.
said. No, you
I don't
did.
never said that.
You're talking to women. You're saying that you're talking to women and we don't have the same career that you have.
He said, well, I'm going to quote him. Steve said, a woman's purpose in life is to have babies.
No, it's not though.
Niall,
We can do both.
Sorry,
Hang on,
There's
Martin.
plenty of women
Let
that
Tricia
are
finish.
doing both.
Yeah.
There's plenty of women that are doing both in this world. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of women that are in senior jobs.
Ask those women
Maybe
what's
they're
their
not-
kid's favourite hobby.
Come off.
Go ahead.
You
Ask those women what their kid's favourite hobby was. Oh, were they there for the first
You
step?
could ask the same
Absolutely, you
question to
can.
men, though.
Exactly, and this is my point. Because women have women have been banging on for us to be home for years, so we don't miss these things. And now women are running out the door at the first chance of a career to miss those very.
Okay, well, hang on, Tricia. Martin just wants to say something. Hang on, Martin wants to say something to you there, Tricia.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
sorry, Tricia, I don't think you were really listening to what I said. What I said was, I don't have a career. I have a job. I would never deny any woman who really wants to go out and work or have a career, I would never deny them that opportunity, the same as I wouldn't deny it to a man. I am simply stating a fact that at the end of the day, most of the women that I know, and when I say most, I mean the vast majority, given the opportunity, and I would never deny any woman the opportunity to do different, but the vast majority of women that I know, whether they be relatives, friends, or just women that I meet through my, not career, my job, I know in conversations over the years that the vast majority of them would prefer to be at home with their children.
Hang on. Let Tricia respond to that. Tricia, do you think that's a fair statement, that the vast majority of women that he knows are only working out of necessity?
Not necessarily. And I think if you gave everybody the choice and everybody had enough money to be at home with their children, men and women will be at home with their children. It's not a men and women thing. It's about being able to afford it and making a decision around what's the right decision. And I guess the other thing, the point I originally called up about was, we're all assuming here it's a man and woman situation bringing up children. And we all know that that's not the world anymore. So what do you do when there's two women? Are you saying one has more of a maternal instinct than the other? Mm-hmm. If you're saying there's two men bringing up children, one has more than the other, that they make the decision based on maternal instinct to stay at home.
Two halves make a whole. Two halves make a whole. It's very simple. To have a balanced upbringing. Look, we know absolutely everybody has to play their part. And in a shitty world like the one we're in now, if a child is lucky enough to have two parents who are male or female, that is a wonderful thing. But nothing is going to bear out other than the statistics that the nuclear family is what has worked. And since the generation of the nuclear family, everything's fallen apart. Everything. Family values are gone out the window. Nobody sits around at the table anymore talking or eating their dinner. There's nobody doing any of this crap. The world is falling apart. And it is simply because societal roles have changed so much and nobody was ready for it. Not the men or the women.
I agree.
Tricia, can I ask you a question? Sorry, are you working yourself?
Go on. Sorry?
Are you working yourself?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
and
I have a very senior job in a large corporation.
Okay, that's good.
Fair play to you.
And listen, but let's not patronise. Okay, but that's good. Okay, what?
That was genuine. I wasn't being patronising.
No. I know you weren't.
You're listening to Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
With Recruit.ie. Download our job search app today. Search for Recruit.ie in your smartphone app store.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
Unfortunately, I couldn't get Tricia back again. I don't know if I think her phone was off or something. Anyway, the question I was going to ask Tricia was, firstly, did she have any children? And did she have a partner? And secondly, if she was given the choice and offered the same amount of money that she's getting for working, would she stay at home? Now, I'm not going to predict what her answer would be, but I suppose, Martin, that is the real question. And that was the question that was asked in research going back 6 years ago by Sulis, was if you offered a woman who was working the same amount of money and said you can stay at home if you like and we'll give you the same amount of money, would you? And something like 80-something% said yes, they would. Now, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they'd like it. They might get bored of it after 3 months.
Okay, they may well.
Yeah, go ahead, Martin.
Yeah, sorry, they may well, Niall. Look, I hope Tricia is still listening. My comment earlier on about fair play, that was genuinely meant. I meant if that...
No, I meant what I said. I hope she didn't take this as being patronising.
Yeah. I wasn't being patronising. Look, we all have different ambitions and goals in life. But at the end of the day, I'm what's the generation they apply to me? I think I would be called a baby boomer. Is it a boomer or something like that?
Couldn't tell you.
If you want, Steve, if you want.
I'm joking.
But
Steve is Generation X.
I'm taking it as a joke, Steve. I'm taking it as a joke. Like, the way I view it is, the vast majority of women, as I was saying, that I know, and I've had conversations with. I mean, it's not my opening gambit with every conversation when I meet a woman, but I've been around a long time. And my experience is that, particularly in this, in this country with tax individualisation and everything else that's happened, couples have been forced into a position where it's not working. Steve is right. He's absolutely right. And as I said, I don't often agree with Steve, but Steve, I hope you'll take this the right way. I absolutely, entirely agree with you on this.
Many women, let me just give you the counter argument. Many women will say, it is working. It gives me an opportunity now to have a career, which I always wanted to do. And I can hold off having children. Women are having their eggs frozen, as you know. The average age now for a woman to have her first child is in her early 30s.
Mothers.
Well, no, hang on. Is in her early 30s rather than being 18 or 21 as it would have been 30 years ago. So they're saying it is working for women. It's giving us more choices.
All indicators, Niall, of ignoring biology, everything you just said there. Stop ignoring biology. Do you know what? I genuinely, can I say this to all the women who are listening out there? Lads, tune out for a second. This is for the women. I can understand that probably a lot of you are sitting at home right now going, listen to that man bastard give out about women. It's a power thing. I don't. Hand on my heart, it's like the man banging on the glass screaming behind us, there's danger, but nobody's listening to me. Women, pick up a book. This is not me being derogatory, and understand the biology of the force, because we men have learned that we have what's known as bridled power. We sit idly by while we're being trampled over, but that wasn't the way the world was before. Men were big, vicious bastards, but we learned. And now you guys are going to have to learn. Women have to learn with their newfound power how to handle it, not to walk on other people, not to go for.
I don't think women are walking on other people. I don't know where you're getting that from.
Oh, Niall.
Who are these women that are walking all over other people? Who are they?
Campus. Go into third level education into this country. Go ahead.
No, if somebody's being rude, I'd call them out as being rude or being horrible, whatever it is.
And Niall, you've no idea. Have you met these people? Like, have you actually met these people in public? Because I have.
Were they the women who rejected you at some point in your life?
No, absolutely. Jesus, no. Nothing. Why would you even ask that question? No, absolutely not. Nothing got to do with that. I'm talking about, I have been in the company of these people who genuinely, women, a lot of women, not all, I won't speak in absolutes, have a chip on their shoulder, and if they would just flick it off, we would all get on.
Okay, well, hang on, just let me bring Stephen in as well. Sorry, I want to bring Stephen. Hi, how are you doing? Bring a bit of balance to this, I hope. Sorry, Stephen, go ahead.
Thanks. So I kind of tuned in on my way home, and I was just kind of going, wait, what are we talking about? So I thought it was something to do with the Constitution.
Well, do you want me to go back to what I was actually talking about? What I was actually talking about was research that was out today, which is no surprise because of the cost of childcare. more women, people are choosing to leave a parent staying at home. And unfortunately, the majority of those people staying at home are women. For women, unfortunately, they feel that they're the ones because obviously they're earning less money or whatever it is, or maybe they're choosing to do it. And the question I asked was, are they choosing to do that, or is it just by financial necessity?
To stay home, it's probably more out of financial necessity. Like, it used to be that, women shouldn't have to go out to work because their place should be in the home. And that's roughly what the Constitution kind of says. But, like, my uncle has the luxury of being able to work from home for the last 18, 20 years or so. So he was always the stay-at-home parent while his wife went out and worked, the 9 to 5. My parents both had to, my dad worked 2 jobs and Mum has always worked basically unless she physically couldn't for the last 30 years of my life, But yeah, I think there are parents at the moment facing 1,200, 1,500, 2,000 euro crash fees, going, sod this, if I'm basically losing 60% of my wages, I might as well stay home and, maybe claim the dole or try and work from home and so on,
But why is it women? See, Steve and Martin, and Martin's agreeing with Steve. I don't know if he agrees with the statement Steve made. And I'm going to repeat his statement. A woman's purpose in life is to have and raise children.
It's certainly something that they are biologically capable of doing and to a certain extent feel an urge to do. But, it's not necessarily it's not their only job in life.
No, but it's their only biological job in life is to have a baby, continue the species.
Well, I just gave you the other. I
believe their only job in life is to actually live.
Well, and if you're breaking it down, I'll say it to you again to biology, Steve. A man's only biological purpose in life is to put his penis into a woman and reproduce.
No.
If you want to break it down to biology, but that's not what we break it down. We break it down into lifestyle choices as well.
No. Sorry, Steve. If I could just say, look, you cannot separate the innate qualities of male and female from our DNA and our biology. Okay. Now, is it a requirement for all women to stay at home and have children? No. Is it a requirement for all men to father children? No. But it is hard written into who we are. Take certain roles in life. You will always have outliers. There's no argument about it. I'm not arguing that. And I wouldn't deny any woman who wants to have a career. But this whole notion of careers, this is where I'm coming from. The vast, vast majority of women that I know that go out to work, they don't regard themselves as having careers. What they're doing is they're going out to provide. And there comes a point where where the fulcrum in the center of that seesaw, it tilts the other way, where they say, well, this is not making sense. I am missing out, and so are my children, on the opportunity for us to be together as nature had intended, simply to pay for someone else to be the guardian of my children while I'm not there. And they make a decision to actually say, well, no, this is not making any sense. I'm going to stop and I'm going to return to what would be regarded as, in my opinion, the natural role.
Okay, well, let me ask Stephen in relation. Stephen, the old way of thinking, of course, was the nuclear family, which is a kind of conservative view. Mom stays at home for the formative years of a child's life. Of course, if you worked in the civil service up to the 1970s, you weren't allowed to be working if you were married. You had to, once you had your first baby, that was it. Off you went home and you weren't allowed back into work again. So, but that law obviously changed. But do you believe that's still the ideal situation for a child, to have a loving parent at home, primarily women, because they have a maternal instinct, or seem to, when it comes to the percentages of women that choose to stay at home, and to have, a breadwinner out earning the money if he was earning enough money? Do you believe that's the ideal situation for a child?
I think having a parent at home, like obviously in my uncle's case, he was the stay-at-home parent. Unless he was off doing, because he works in...
But he'd be a minority. He's in a minority.
He is in a minority. But to have a parent at home, yeah, would be lovely, so that, somebody has prepared dinner or whatever it is, and
You're
is
not
there
really
to help them with the
answering the
homework.
question there,
My grandparents would have been the ones that would have looked after me after school, me and my sister.
You're still not answering the
because
question.
my parents would be
You're
at work.
avoiding the question like crazy.
So I suppose there would be a benefit in having a parent at home.
No, not a parent. Would it be better having a mother generally at home?
No, there's no difference between my mother and my father in terms of their ability to parent me.
Well, then I tell you what.
Also, just to raise the point,
hold on a second. You can argue that point all you want, but all you're doing is arguing with millions and millions of years of evolution. Go ahead and argue that point, and let's see who wins.
Yeah, but
go for it.
But hang on. It's this is not about winning an argument. B, this is about it's about actually having a discussion and speaking together. I'm giving you the benefit of my experience versus you're giving your experience. That's all there is.
And Stephen, I have no doubt that is your experience, that both of your parents were equally capable, equally loving and raising your child. But I can tell you that my experience, my father was better off out of work, and my mother did a much better job at raising children than my father would have. My father would, don't get me wrong, I loved him to bits and he was a wonderful man. He had his faults, but he was a wonderful man. But, he wouldn't know the first thing about raising a child. She wouldn't know how to make a dinner. What I'm saying to you is that traditional role has always been a woman's role. And why is that?
Because this is a man's world and it is structured to serve men.
It's not a man's world. Are you for real? This is a woman's world. Everything
certainly in your time
it
was a man's world. Yeah. Certainly in your time it was a man's world.
Here's the thing, my man. In a man's world, things were a lot more simpler for both genders. You only have to look at female suicide statistics have shot through the damn roof.
Well, I don't know how statistically true. Well, I'll have to check that, but I don't know how statistically true that is.
It's still more men committing suicide than women. It's still more men committing suicide than women, but women's suicide rates have absolutely gone up. All suicide rates have gone up.
Mind you, that's not a good thing for anybody, Stephen. I think that's more about the cost of living nowadays and the cost of raising children. But both of you stay there. Just please, Martin, Stephen and Steve, just stay there. I want to just quickly before the break, if I can, go to Padraig. He's been waiting ages. Sorry, Padraig, do apologise. Padraig, go ahead.
Greetings, all fellow patriots.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Greetings, Barry.
That's a good way to start.
What's the story, Morning Glory, Niall?
Yes, let's get to the point, Padraig, quickly, because I've got 3 minutes. Go on.
Yes, 3 minutes. Well, the subject matter at hand, it's very evident that the women are taking over.
Oh, God.
Sad as
we should be so lucky.
Niall, sad as I am, I'm looking at the TV tonight. I turn on the BBC One News, a lady presenter, a newsreader, UTV lady newsreader. Now I've gone on to News.
Heaven forbid.
A lady, God forbid, another lady newsreader. So the men are we're becoming surplus to requirements now. We're second-class citizens. At the end of the day, it's all over for us, really.
Don't ever leave us, Niall. You're the last male presenter on the planet.
We're surplus to requirements.
We're surplus.
But Padraig, if you go back 20 years ago, when you turned on the television, generally speaking, or the radio, all you heard was male presenters. Now there's a balance.
Yeah, but Niall that was gone to the other extreme.
I don't think it's gone. No, I don't think it's gone to the other extreme.
Of course it has.
Take Classic Hits, by the way. Classic Hits, by the way, is 50% female, or 50% male and 50% female presenters. Well, by the way, that's not by design. That's just purely coincidental.
Well, let's look at the primary school teachers. 80% women.
Mm-hmm. It's more, actually. I think it's around 87% now.
So do you hear anybody? If that was 80% men, Niall, there'd be hue and cry about it. But no, it's okay because the women are in charge. And by the way, a couple of my family members had women bosses, Niall. They're tyrants.
Wow. But I know male bosses who are tyrants as well.
Well, no.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen. You want to say something to Padraig there very quickly? Go on.
Which one of us? Me?
Oh, you, Stephen. Yeah, you want to say something to Padraig, the man?
Yeah, I mean, we should be so lucky. I have had many female bosses that were lovely, and I know many male bosses that are also lovely, and I know a few that are complete and utter dickheads. But like, I was going to kind of give a point from, me as a gay man in my 30s. If I should be so lucky to be able to have children if I wanted. I always said, well, if I was lucky enough to have a decent enough job, ideally a husband and a place of my own, in my mid-30s, I would have had children by now. But financially, economically, and everything else, I'm not in that place. If I get to 40 or my mid-40s, and I can get into a situation where I can have kids, great.
Stephen, would you say that's a biological urge kicking in?
Well, but Steve, hold on a second. Steve, you're also gay. So what's your problem with that? Yeah.
No. Did you hear me having a complaint? I'm asking.
Sorry, I thought you were having a go at him. Sorry.
I just would like to, make the life of the child better.
Tonight.
Sorry, Patrick.
Jesus Christ, Niall. And me and you, the only straight guys left in Ireland.
What are you going to say next? Gay men are taking over the world? Is that what you're going to say next?
Well,
we're working on it.
It's a work in progress.
Niall, we're on a slippery slope here.
So will the world will be run by women and gay men? Is that what you're saying?
I told you, Niall, we're surplus.
Again, we could be so lucky.
It's all over, baby. It's all over for us, Niall.
You're the only person calling another man baby. Niall knows I'm a real man like himself.
Patrick is out there, bare-chested, chopping the wood out the back garden. Yeah.
Niall,
real man.
Proud to be caveman, Niall. Proud to be, and we listen.
Why don't
we've done nothing else, Niall. We have produced children, so that is our only legacy.
Hey, just because Steve and Stephen are gay doesn't mean they won't produce children. But
I produced a child. Does that numpty know, Pádraig? You know I produced a child.
Well,
I could do it if I really know.
Stephen, are you planning on producing some children to keep Pádraig happy?
Sorry for that child. Jesus Christ Almighty.
Stephen.
At the end of the day, nobody should be forced to feel like they should stay at home in order to be able to feel like they can look after their children, because childcare is too goddamn expensive.
Couldn't agree with you more. Listen, thanks, lads. That was a bit of fun at the end, actually. Patrick believes that women and gay men are taking over the world. There you go. Anyway, if you want to give us a call, you can. The number is 087 188 0008. After the break, by the way, my guest is a photographer. Can I stick into the calls? What are you saying, Jane? You want more people on, do you? All right, okay. Okay, all right. We'll take one or two more calls in relation to this after the break, because Jane wants to continue it after 10 minutes because she says it's been such a hell. By the way, can I just point out, while Steve and Martin were on, Jane was losing her mind. She was throwing things up on the screen to me here. She's going mad because, in case you didn't know, my producer Jane is probably the biggest feminist you'll ever meet in her life. She's mad as a brush, right? But she was putting things up on the screen there. Some things I just couldn't repeat on the air, right? Why don't you come on? Just come on as a caller, like. And she said no, because I just wiped the floor clean with the two of them. There you go. Anyway, the number is 087 188 0008 if you want to come on. Jane, if you want to come on, you tell you what, Jane, you can change your name. Do you want? You can change. We'll call you Mary or something. I don't know. Think of a name that you've always liked. We can call you that.
Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan on the home of the 80s and 90s.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
Jane is insisting I punish her a little bit more here, by the way, by annoying her a little bit more with this particular topic, even though it was her idea, can I just point out. The number is 087 188 0008. Now, look, where did the topic all start? God, I've forgotten at this stage. The topic actually started with research today that suggested that women were staying at home. Let me go to John. Hi, John. How are you?
Good evening, and how are you?
Good, John. Why do you think it's not the men doing it?
Well, my own personal experience, when I was working with a company before Christmas.
Are you on a speakerphone, John? Because you're a bit muffled.
Sorry,
Yeah, it's okay.
Can you hear me now, yeah?
Yeah, go ahead. Go on.
Where in the business we were fitting blinds and stuff. And I genuinely noticed that it was actually more men staying at home than women.
Well, that might have been your observation, but 85% of stay-at-home parents are actually women. So that might have been just your observation, and then primarily the houses you went to.
Yeah, but I kind of noticed myself a trend over the last couple of years that
men are doing it more.
Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. But primarily, it was, as you know yourself, like over the years, it would have been more women.
Yeah.
But I think if a woman wants a career, then I wouldn't have a problem with it, because at the end of the day, like, isn't it better to have two working parents than just one?
It is if it's worthwhile, but the problem is nowadays with the cost of childcare and creches that it's kind of not really. It's not really worthwhile for a lot of people to go to work, and usually though the one that earns less is the one that ends up staying at home, and in most cases, sadly, that's women.
Yeah, like I know women now, like who have to bear the brunt of child costs, like my sister being one of them, and her and her friends. Child costs in the country scandalously high, like, and it has to come down. I mean, it's easy for, with all due respect to Helen McEntee, it's easy for these people to not really worry about it when you have to question the child, you know,
yeah,
against the house. So, I agree. I think that child cost has to come down, like, and it has to be the primary issue in this budget.
But is it wise? Because according to Steve and Martin, who were on before the break there, they don't believe it's such a bad thing having women staying at home with children. I mean, if you reduce childcare costs, well, that encourages both parents to be at work. Surely a child is better off at home with one parent than being in a creche.
Yeah, but why not get the grandmother to look after them for a few hours?
Well, but whatever about the grandmothers, is it not a better situation? The point Martin and Stephen were making before the break, or Steve were making before the break, was that it is better to have a parent at home, primarily a woman.
It would be for.
Yeah, I'm just giving that name, the Wills. Yeah.
It would be like if it was financially worth their while.
Okay, well, hang on. Let me go to Sarah as well. Sarah, let's get a woman's perspective on this. Yes, Sarah. Hi.
Hi, Niall.
I'm good, Sarah. What do you want to say?
I'm good. How are you?
So, I mean, do you think women are choosing to stay at home, or are they being forced to stay at home?
I think you should apologise to Jane and give her a break and tell her she's doing an amazing job.
She is doing stop. She is doing an amazing job. But she's some laugh, I'll tell you.
No, she's brilliant as well, isn't she?
Oh, she is, yeah. Yeah, she's marvellous. Marvellous.
No, that you don't sound sincere.
I know I am sincere. She knows I think she's marvellous. Does Jane, by the way, can I ask a question here to all the callers who do this late at night, every single night? Is Jane telling you to say these things on the air?
No, so Jane won't do that.
No, she wouldn't.
There's not a hope in hell. I don't even know the girl.
She just rang you a minute ago, said you do know her.
But give her a break, for God's sake. She doesn't make... Actually, do you know what?
Is this going to be about Jane, is it?
No, listen, hang on a minute, Niall. I guarantee you, right?
Yeah.
She'd outdo you if she'd done a nice sitting on that chair.
Do you think so?
On that mic.
Okay,
yeah.
Well, then let's give her a go then. Let's see how it works out for her, okay? Do you want to do that? Jane, do you want to do that now? Do you want to take it?
No, don't put her on the spot. She can prepare herself. Give her time what you do.
Oh,
and this thing about women going around wearing pyjamas, right?
Oh.
Men do it as well. They go around walking in their shorts.
Men don't.
We don't know. Listen, hang on. We don't know.
Men don't walk around in their pyjamas.
Shorts, right?
They don't walk around in their pyjamas.
I heard you walk around up the north in a pair of shorts like that, yeah?
No, I don't. I don't wear shorts. I only wear shorts on holidays.
No, well, I heard you down there.
Well, you heard wrong, Sarah. I've only ever worn shorts on holidays. That's beside the point. Getting back to the question at hand, Sarah. Do you believe women are better at home or men?
What? Look, get into the kitchen and wash those pots and pans.
Something like that.
Is that the theory that Stephen and Stephen...
And no, Stephen Martin. That wasn't Stephen. Stephen was defending you. Stephen Martin. That was their theory. Yeah. That your purpose in life, Sarah, is to have babies.
My purpose in life is not to have a child. That's a fact in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no one purpose in life to have a child. If you choose to have a child, that's your own business.
But if all women chose not to have children, it would be the end of civilization, as we know.
I don't know. I have a pain in my arse with all this because you're going back years.
Men can't have babies. That's just a fact.
Listen, yeah, we know that, but then you're going back to this thing about, like, we were all brought up as Catholics and, and the man goes out and gets the job and the woman stays at home, looks after the children, looks after the husband and all this, that and the other. What a biggest load of bull I came across. Right. And there is hard out there for women that are working and their husbands are working, and they're paying mortgages, and they're paying creches, and they're in very, very good jobs.
But we should never get ourselves into a situation where both parents had to work. We should never get ourselves into that situation as a society. Because all a child wants is the love of a parent.
No, I disagree. You're bringing that back on the individual. Like, it's part of society. Society has grown. You know what I mean? And then what's happening is, like, as you said it there earlier, like, we hadn't got mobile phones running around. We hadn't got Wi-Fi. We hadn't got half of the things.
And
they're luxuries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I am grateful for what I have in my life today. But I'm sure, like, a 14-year-old gets to my age, like, would half of them know what a telephone box looks like as well?
No, they wouldn't.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, you have to change with the times. But by God, please leave the next generation with good morals.
Stay there for a second. Let me go to Dwills. Is it Dwills? Oh, hang on. Let me put him on here. Switch him on. Hang on. Dwills, is it?
Yeah, I'm all cool. What's the crack with you?
Yeah, that's an unusual name, isn't it? Dwills.
Yeah. It's just, look, it's a nickname I had since I was fucking 8 years old.
And where did that name come from, Dwills? Is it?
Because I used to drive go-karts and all that shit back in the day.
Right,
blah, blah, blah.
Oh, okay. All right.
But anyway, look, we won't get into that. Niall,
No. Yes.
I love your show, right?
Yeah, you from Navan?
I am from Navan, absolutely.
Go on.
And do you know what? My town is not, it's not like Navan anymore.
Is it not?
Absolutely.
What's it like?
Anyway, Niall, hang on a minute.
Right.
Are we live on the radio?
We are, Dwills.
Everyone is listening to you.
Yeah, everyone's listening to you, Dwills. Even Sarah, who's on the...
That's cool. No, Niall, let's get back to what we were talking about again. There's a lot of, you have to understand, okay?
Yeah, I do.
There is a lot of tension in the country right now. Lot of people are fed up about this mass migration.
Is that what you wanted to come on for, Dwills? You didn't want to come on for this topic. You wanted to come on and talk about migration.
No, I don't. Look, I guarantee I'm 10 seconds behind, Dammy.
Well, see, no, hang on. See, he's already blown it. He's already blown it. Because I can see, I'm doing this 25 years, right? Dwills.
Neil.
Yeah, no, Niall, actually. Dwills, I'm doing this 25 years, right? And I'm in control. Do you get that?
Thank you very much.
But here's the thing. The fact that you've asked me, have we got a 10-second delay? I know, Dwills, that you're going to say something bonkers. But go for it, Dwills. Go for it.
I love you.
I love you, too.
You are the only journalist out of them all, right? They're all scumbags.
Whole lot of them. No. Dwills, can you talk about what we're talking about?
The truth.
Niall
Biden will always talk the truth.
Dwills.
Listen, everybody knows that. Like, everybody knows that. Every other station knows that.
They all know.
They're quite aware of that.
I'd love to meet you for a pint, mate.
Yeah, I'd love to meet you too, Dwills. I say, great crack.
No, you're a fucking amazing man, right? My mother passed away there 2 months ago, and she loved you, right?
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Dwills.
She was just like, this guy is so awesome.
So, Dwills, I'm sorry to hear about your mum, by the way. Condolences if your mum passed away. I'm really sorry to hear that.
No, that's cool. No, do you know what? She's in a better place because the way the world is coming now, right? You have no idea what's coming, mate.
Oh.
We're going to be invaded by fucking...
Oh, okay. Dwills, I know it's late at night and everything else, but, we got to keep the language to the minimum. You understand? It is a radio station, Dwills. Anyway.
Or else you get his license took off.
What'd you say, Sarah?
I'll let you get your license took off, Niall.
Yeah, they could. That's...
Could happen. If you kept up.
Do you think... By the way, here's the thing. Here's the theory I had. Do you think if we...
Don't say it to anybody.
Do you think if we whispered on the radio and nobody would hear us?
Exactly. I think that's how we'll give him the 10-second rule.
Okay. Sarah.
Right. Let's go for it. Well,
listen, I have to finish the topic now anyway. Okay?
Okay.
See you. Night, Sarah. See you.
Right. Next topic.
Okay. Thanks, Sarah. Bye. What a bunch of nutcases on tonight. My God almighty, people whispering on the radio, Dwills losing his mind, I don't want Twills. Come on for. See you, Twills. Good night.
Sangafol, yeah.
Yeah, Sangafol. Yeah, he's coming. Hang on.
Real people, real opinions, Real Talk Radio. The multi-award winning Niall Boylan Show.
Ireland's classic